whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. I'm attorney Gavin Richard. I grew up here in New Orleans, so I know how important family, friends, and community are to us. And helping others has been a lifelong passion of mine. If you've been injured in an accident, you may be out of work and faced with large medical bills. You'll need someone to fight the insurance companies so that you can get on with your life. Give me a call at 504-799-2288, and I'll be with you all the way. The law offices of Gavin M. Richard, going the distance so that justice may be served. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're doing safe and feeling blessed. The place to be is right here with me, only on channel gboot2786. This is Gavin Richard Presents, the hottest live stream on Sunday nights, as well as Tuesdays and Thursdays. We do this. You know, the place to be is right here with me, ladies and gentlemen. So, tonight's news, we have the following. Satchel Paige, the Great Negro. Homer says posthumous pardon. Closing argument set tomorrow in Rittenhouse case. East Baton Rouge District Attorney investigating a morbid freak show. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, but it certainly should be the least, this news. Where is it? Brass against lead singer Sophia Urista relieves herself on a fan. Now, yeah, I know that's gross. Now, as you know, I need you to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Also, if you want to contribute to the channel, since this is not monetized, you can hit Gavin Richard Esquire or GooglePay or gavin.grich1@gmail.com for sending any monies. You can also hit the Zelle at that number below, ladies and gentlemen. We pay some dues first. As you heard earlier in the first banner, if you like to advertise, you can send me your script and list at this email, gavin.grich1@gmail.com. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Patreon. You can contribute to the channel there as well to help us get off of YouTube and grow our platform. Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com is the website to our seasoning company. So if you're interested in some holiday flavor, especially from the deep south here in New Orleans, baby, go to Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, you know I'm a musician as well. Check out Video Soul. Well, I'm a composer, I should say. Video Soul, that's my latest single that is available on Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. You can stream it there. And also, of course, our theme song is Gotta Get On Up. Now, this song is our opening because before we get on down, we got to get on up. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get on up and get me another copyright strike. Oh, I see. Hold on. Excuse me, a little technical difficulty here. Hold on a second.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Gotta get on up. Different key. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Gotta get on up. That's how Philip Bailey would sing it from Earth, Wind, and Fire. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel G-Boot 2786. If you're watching on the backup channel, Gavin Richard, on Periscope, Gavin Rich 2786, or via Facebook, shout out to you, whoever you are, wherever you are. I hope you are blessed and doing safe, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let me just start by giving a special shout out to Nicole from Nicole's View. I was on her platform earlier today, and she allowed me to promote the book that we've all been talking about. And of course, you all know that is my book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in the United States, which is coming out this fall. Don't have a particular release date, but I told Nicole that I would be reporting that on her channel. She would be the first to know. I'm also going to put it on my, of course, announce it on my channel and on my page. But this is where you guys should go if you want to check out the updates on the book. I'll be posting them on this Facebook page here, Commonwealth Cause, at Commonwealth Cause. So you guys can do that. Yes, I can't wait. We got a lot of people in the channel. Right in the channel right now, from Knight Rider to Darius from Atlanta. That's my dude, Darius. Shout out to you, brother. Knight Rider, Kid Gravity, a bunch of people. Tyree. I just want to say, as I'm reporting this and I'm on Facebook, unfortunately, I just got word, and I hate to even talk about this, but I just saw that there's a 10th victim now in the Travis Scott case, and that's the 9-year-old. This was on Facebook. This was on Nicole's Facebook page. I just saw earlier that Ezra. Hold on one second. Yeah, Nicole just had the article up there. Yeah, Ezra Blunt was the 9-year-old that was killed. He succumbed to his injuries at the Astro World. At the Astro World tragedy that just happened. So shout out and my thoughts and prayers, ladies and gentlemen, to the victims, especially this 9-year-old boy, to he and his family. We got the latest on that. This is from ABC 13.
The disaster that happened last Friday. Attorney Ben Crump says he got more than 200 plaintiffs right now, ranging in many injuries here.
Yeah, they filed more than 90 civil lawsuits already. ABC 13's Micah Hatfield was there today.
Oh, wow.
Micah, who was Attorney Crump putting the blame on?
Well, Ben Crump says that he is naming everyone in their lawsuit. He made that very, very clear. He called what happened a week ago today a total failure and says everyone who was injured, whether it be mental or physical or lost their lives, deserve accountability and answers.
Houston, I want to hear you. Everybody. His name is on the lawsuit, but Live Nation, we don't ever want it to get lost. That Live Nation is the largest concert promoter in the world. They do these every day. If Travis Scott is accountable, he absolutely should be held accountable.
Attorney Ben Crump says there was failure on every level at Astroworld 1 week ago today. The festival goers he's representing detailed shortcomings from start to finish. Reina Irahita broke down talking about the unruly crowds that she says security could not control and the lack of basic necessities.
I remember people just begging for water and me getting mad. Why is it you guys have so much money? Why can't you just give free water for everyone? The water was selling out and it was hard for people to get it.
It's a concert
that I would possibly not return home to my children.
Unica Smith, a mother of twin teens, went to the concert alone. She recalls a woman next to her having a seizure and how focused she was on not allowing the crowd surge to push her down on top of the woman who was already in medical distress. When she finally got out of the crowd, Smith says she herself fainted.
There's discussions about it in person and online about what people in the crowd should have done and saying, well, if you were in the crowd and you noticed someone dying around you, why didn't you help? I'm not a licensed medical professional.
Crump, his fellow attorneys, and the people he's representing say everybody and anybody who had a hand in the Astroworld Festival needs to be held accountable. They did not say who ultimately bears the responsibility for what they referred to as a disaster, but say Live Nation was not proactive in dealing with foreseeable problems.
We will continue to investigate every single level of failures. From the very top at Live Nation to the security team, we're not going to leave one stone unturned.
Do these every day.
Ben Crump says this is also about change, making sure this does not happen again.
Let me say this. Okay, so right now, Jason Black is actually doing a live stream on on his channel talking about this very thing with regards to Travis Scott. And, you know, we talked about this when we had Sean and Harvey on. This doesn't surprise me that they've come down there, but yeah, everyone, I agree with him. Everyone is going to get blame and assessed to them. But why would you bring this? Not the time to bash the family because they just lost their 9-year-old. But you guys know where I was going with it. And you saw the video of the people hopping over the fence, going over past security, knocking the metal detectors over. All of this is not on Travis Scott. I don't like all of this dogpiling that they're doing. And Nicole and I were talking about it earlier. I couldn't even tell you what his top song is, what's his best album, because I don't listen to mumble rappers. But he's popular with young white kids. Young white kids like him, I think, even more than black kids. So, you know, more white people actually listen to hip hop music and R&B than blacks because there are more white people in the country. It's the fact. But rest in peace to that young brother, Ezra Blunt. May he rest in peace. But speaking of music, did you guys actually check out the Bruno Mars Anderson Silk album, Silk Sonic? Anderson .Paak, excuse me. Silk Sonic. That is a great album. I downloaded it. It's 30 minutes long. They had Bootsy Collins on there, and if you're going with funk, you can't get no better than Bootsy Collins. Baddest bass player ever. One of the baddest bass players ever. Former JB. And, you know, you take it up to him, a member of Parliament Funk, all of that. Bootsy is on there heavily. So they did a good job with the album. One of my favorite tracks on there is the last track on the album, which is Fly. Blast Off. Fly is me and Blast Off. I have to, but Blast Off is pretty good. And yeah, it's a pretty good track, but it doesn't last long. It's only 9 tracks, period. So it's 30 minutes long. Anderson .Paak, Silk, Bruno Mars, and Silk Sonic. It's pretty cool. I like the album cover, how they got it digital. You can see it move like that. So it's pretty tight. But speak, you know, and that's the kind of direction I try to go with. I want to take it back to R&B. I like R&B, old school R&B. I like, you know, we've talked about it before, the Babyface, the Teddy Riley, the groups like After 7, stuff I was coming up with. Even a New Jack Swing, Guy, and Tony, stuff like that. I like that type of music, but also like the Whispers and Earth, Wind, and Fire. And, you know, that we don't have that anymore. You know, tonight, too, they have Adele coming on. And reason why I'm talking about this with Bruno Mars, I did a show last time, you guys can go look back, about the face of R&B and how it's changing. So they got Adele's One Night Only that's on right now on CBS, and she did an interview with Oprah Winfrey. And, you know, I'll never forget, they had Adele on Good Morning America. She wasn't on there, but Good Morning America was covering, I think, the Grammys. And there was an article that was out that questioned whether Adele was the next Whitney Houston. And I say all of this to say, because with Adele, with Bruno Mars and these guys coming out, black music is being replaced by non-FBA people, non-black people. This is the new face. This is the new face of R&B. Now, it's not a shot against Bruno Mars and so forth, because I think Bruno's a great singer, but would Bruno have the success he has if he were a black male? I don't think he would. But remember, in 2013, they actually had no black singers in either category at having a #1 album, #1 song. So this is the new face. Yeah. You see stuff like this. Hold on. You see stuff like this. Comparing her, this was 6 years ago. Now, this is old. But she was compared to Whitney Houston. Just now, I saw an article. Nicole showed something on her page a few weeks ago. They compared or called Lil Nas X the new king of pop, which is hella disrespectful. Hella disrespectful. The Wall Street Journal put this up. They put this bullshit up. Look at this. Now, that's Adele. That's what they did. That's what they want. Now, I think Adele can sing. Don't get me wrong. I like her. But she is Whitney Houston, she is not. And damn sure neither is. Look at this motherfucker. Now, read what it says here. Why Lil Nas X is the new king. He's not a king, he'd be a queen. The new king of pop. So they got that wrong. The 22-year-old single, Old Town Road, was a huge debut. And now he's one of the most streamed artists in the world. With his first album, Montero, he's blown up the charts along with the Old Rules for success. Now, I can't play the... Yeah, it says, first I want to say thank you to the Gay Agenda. Let's go Gay Agenda. Yeah, we know that's real. Okay, I won't touch that. But look what they say. The key word here says he's one of the most streamed. Okay, streamed. Now, I'm going to get into our topics in a little bit and stick with music. But when you say streamed, remember something. Stream is not the same thing as purchasing a record. It is not the same thing as to say when you say he's one of the most streamed to he's the artist that sold the most records. Because if you have a subscription to Spotify, if you do Spotify Premium, if you do YouTube, you can just go and watch these artists for free. When Michael Jackson performed a song, when he was performing those concerts, when he had Thriller, when he had Off the Wall, when he had Bad, even his Invincible album, he had to sell those by working his butt off, and people had to go in a record store and buy them. They didn't stream it then. To sell 750 million albums plus, have the best-selling album of all time, Thriller has sold, it's estimated it sold over at the official records, according to Guinness, is over 75 million records, which makes it the highest grossing album of all time. But remember, RIAA, which is the Recording Industry Artists Association, that RIAA, they are the ones that officially tally, that they call officially tally like the Recording Artist sales, Recording Industry Association of America, excuse me. And remember when they tried to say that the Eagles outsold Thriller, the Eagles' greatest hits album. Now, according to RIAA records, that's the best-selling album of all time. But the Eagles album that they're talking about did not outsell Thriller at all, especially that year of 1982. Thriller was the best-selling album, became quickly the best-selling album of all time because Guinness World Book of Records had it listed and has it still listed as the best-selling record of all time. But this is the disrespect that they do. they want to replace black artists. And that was a complete insult to Michael Jackson and his legacy, because Lil Nas X, I can tell you he doesn't, first and foremost, doesn't even have the catalog that Michael Jackson has. He doesn't have the record. He can't fill, I know for a fact he can't fill a whole stadium by himself and get people excited, get people fainting. When you see big Russians fainting, people 6 foot, 7 foot tall fainting in the crowd. When you got people going into ambulances and getting paramedics, but they're passing out just from a man standing up there. Michael didn't even have to perform. All he had to do was stand and look at the crowd, and it got him hyped. He had to actually sell those albums. So RIAA, they basically do certification of sales, but that does not mean that the Eagles have the best-selling album of all time. They have it according to RIAA standards. But you have albums that are bootleg. You have albums that, that are not held accountable. Like, for instance, well, let's look here. Now, they just announced this a couple of years ago, but I'm going to get to our topic because it relates to music. Our first topic I'm going to get into. It sold, so this is the list they have, 20 million or more copies. They have Thriller at 34 million, going 34 times platinum, which means platinum is 1 million. And the Eagles, which was released in 1976, 38 million. Now, if you go right here, it still says Thriller remains the best-selling album of all time with sales of 70 million worldwide. And it's the second best selling in the United States. So that was, in the United States. But you look at this, Michael still holds the record. Now look at the third best-selling album of all time, The Bodyguard. Since we talk about Whitney, Adele hasn't reached that. No, probably never will. So I just wanted to bring that up to everybody. But yeah, so you see all of this. You can't fall for their crap. Bubbles and the Shimp has more going on than Lil Nas X. And Bubbles, I guess Bubbles is still alive. So otherwise, anything they tie with Michael, they would mention. Bubbles, the pet monkey of Michael Jackson, was dead today, struck by a car while crossing over to get banana fudge sundae at Baskin Robbins. Right, exactly. Michael was making grown men cry. I even heard 50 Cent met Michael Jackson and started crying. He has no talent. He's a hack. He's a talentless hack that makes his living off of trolling, essentially. The only reason he's getting clout is because he's gay. Let's just be real. He pushes that agenda. Bottom line. And speaking of music, let's just go in and talk about my first topic. Now, I want to warn you, it is graphic, of this lady, Sophia Urista, who relieved herself. I don't know if y'all heard this. This was on Twitter. It was trending just this past weekend. At first, I thought it was just a water bottle squeezed between her legs and a fan. Stupid am I. I mean, I didn't think, but I got to open my mind. We're living in a time of debauchery and societal decay. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Now, she's only a year older than me, actually. Her name is Sophia Urista. And so this is her here. And she was performing in a band called Brass Against. That's the name of the band. And she's been the front woman and lead singer of this band for some years. She actually was on The Voice. I said America's Got Talent. No, The Voice. Are they all the same to me? The Voice back in 2016. So this band was performing at the Welcome to Rockville Festival in Daytona Beach, Florida. Now, you can tell, okay, this is a black woman. I don't know, she might be biracial, but she has African ancestry attached to her. So what happened is she was performing at a concert back this past Thursday at the Welcome to Rockville Festival in Daytona Beach, Florida. In the footage shared of the event, viewers can see a male fan welcomed onto the stage. He lies down and what looks like a can is placed on his forehead. Sophia then unbuttoned her pants and squatted over the man's face before she let out a stream of urine. After the man stood up, he spewed pee in the direction of the audience. The band has been since taken to social media to apologize, but many fans have shared their disappointment following the incident. In a statement via social media platforms, Brass Against wrote, "We had a great time last night at Welcome to Rockville. Sophia got carried away. That's not something the rest of us expected, and it's not something you'll see again at our shows. Thanks for bringing it last night, Daytona." I didn't see an apology there. Do you? But then the comments have been turned off on the Instagram post of the band's statement, but fans have taken to commenting on their photos. One wrote, "Now is the urinating on people a VIP experience?" Another added, "Where do I sign up for VIP?" Now, someone defended her, said she did nothing wrong. It was metal as F. Another said, "Man, Sophia Urst is a second coming of Gigi Allen. I applaud the F fuck out of her. We desperately need another controversial rock figure, irrespective of political views." This is why brothers don't fuck with rock and roll, even though brothers created rock and roll, like Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Fats Domino, Lil Walter, and Holland Wolf, their impact on it. But y'all see this crap. Now, I'm hesitant. If you all will grant me permission, I'm going to give you all fair warning. I'll show the video if y'all want. I'm going to show, it's a 20-second clip. I could show the video so if everyone wants to see it. But it is, to do something like that. Now, I could be mad. I'd be disappointed in her. But I'm even more disappointed in the fool that willingly allowed her to do this shit. I don't know if she was on drugs, but that's the reason why we don't fuck with rock and roll, because it's like some satanic shit. She waterboarded him, exactly. She drowned that nigga. I'm sorry, he's not a nigga, excuse me. She drowned that mug. I'm just talking free, but hold on. I don't know if they're going to play it here, but I'm going to play the video without audio because I don't want to get another copyright strike. Because they have their music in here. But apparently she needed to use the bathroom. I mean, why she just didn't step off and go right quick? They would have performed without her. I'm sure the music sucks. They always say you'll never see it again. She's from Detroit. She's from Detroit. I see here on Yahoo. Okay, so that's basically showing the same video, but I mean, and she's looking, I'm looking at her. She recently, not recently, but she got married to the Peltron. Hold on a second, I'm reading this here. Yeah, she's been engaged to Peloton instructor Jess King since 2020. The singer proposed to her longtime girlfriend after the premiere of the music video for the song she wrote about King, entitled Everything About You. The couple are reportedly focused on family planning, with each of them allegedly wanting to eventually carry a child. Oh, gee, that's interesting. I know. I don't think he had a COVID mask on, bro. Let me. Yeah, that was just flat out gross. This was just flat out gross that she did that. Let me hold on. All right. He didn't have nothing on. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Y'all can go look at it yourself. But this was just, even myself, I'm grossed out by it too. But this fool is laying there. If you look at him, he's got his hands up. He's obviously happy about it. And he gets up. Wait, hold on. I got to show this though. After it's over, he gets up. She put the cup on his head. But after he gets up, they said that he squirted it on the people in the VIP section. So imagine being in the front when all of this piss is coming down on you. I would be upset. That's just gross. This motherfucker got a golden shower. This fool got a golden shower. So she's the female R. Kelly. Yeah. She's possessed by a demon, cop killer. Yeah, that cooch stink. Yeah. What it smell like, Darius? All that sweat, yeah. Smelled like So like a beached whale, like a beached whale on a needle-infested sand on the Jersey coast. Hypodermic needles on the show. Y'all remember that? Yeah, just imagine that with a beached whale on there that exploded. But that's the link if you have any interest in watching it. But I mean, it was all on Twitter. They have blurred it out on that one. But yeah, man, that was crazy. But that's why I can't get the music we have today sucks. And it's in part because the artists suck too. They have no class. I'll just say it, leave it at that. Brass Against, have y'all even heard of them? I've never heard of them. Nah, I know I'll never listen to them. All right. So, next thing we got, ladies and gentlemen, some big news. Closing arguments are set tomorrow in the Rittenhouse case. Now, of these last 2 weeks, of course, prosecutors presented their case, and earlier this past week, the defense presented their case where they even had the testimony of the defendant, Kyle Rittenhouse, take the witness stand. Now, many people were mocking Rittenhouse as he was crying on the stand and also criticizing this Judge Bruce Schroeder out in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The judge recently revealed that he had received, and this is courtesy of the Daily Mail, some emails, threatening emails for him requesting that he be fired. States here, some of the emails that he said one email said, "Wow, way to name a white skinhead, hot head to be a judge. No wonder they burned down your city." A few others said, "Your Honor," one address to Your Honor reads, "I didn't know that under your black robes of justice, you wear a white robe of the Klan. There is no way a fair trial can be heard under your supervision. Better yet, resign." Others call for the racist judge, the longest serving in the county, to be dismissed and disbarred. One of these emails, you can look right here, guys. I'm actually going to share with you the article on the Daily Mail present right here. One email actually says, "So I can't call the wounded men victims, says your judge. One day, hope his kids become victims to the most heinous homicide known to man. So he feels the pain, and we'll call his kids not victims, but looks like bastards, and a descendant of a, I don't know what that is, blank family and father figure. Racist bastard. God will pay you back for your statement." They are. Now, the judge complained about this, but he got criticism and got blasted because for practically about everything. One of those is that his ringtone is "God Bless America." They said people were criticizing him about that. And whether his joke about Chinese lunch says, "I hope that the Asian food isn't on one of those boats from Long Beach Harbor." He said many people found that to be inappropriate. But they're talking about threatening the lives of his children. One email was sent, promises payback, and states that Rittenhouse, quote, "won't live long if acquitted." So the email, much of which is too offensive to reproduce, states that the hope that one day Judge Schroeder's kids become victims to the most heinous homicide known to man. So he feels the pain. So we get to call his kids not victims, but bastards. The judge, according to this, even responded, confirming the emails that he and his staff have received in the course of the trial that has been watched by millions. And he promised he would deal. So he said he was deal with the senders and said, "I wouldn't want to be those people." Numerous emails are, of course, sent anonymously or using pseudonyms. One claiming to be from Jesus is signed JC. It reads, "Make sure to tell Schroeder what a worthless piece of shit he is. He'll find out officially when his heart seizes up. I'm a few years and he has to stand before a real judge. I think they mean in a few years. Talking about standing before God. Of course, the judge even talked about the jury can consider lesser charges, which that's not a surprise. When it's a responsive verdict to a murder charge, they could consider a manslaughter, things of that nature. Obviously, there are different kinds of
This is the checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond.
Manslaughter charges.
There was opportunity to retreat. We see the defendant.
Are you able to identify when in the examination? Because he had a very lengthy examination. By having a lesser included offense included, you're raising the risk of conviction, although you're avoiding the possibility that the jury will end up compromising on the more serious crime. Any question about any of this so far?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Have you had enough time to talk with your lawyers about this?
I have.
Have you had enough time to think about what you're doing?
Yes, I have.
Do you think what you're doing is the best thing under all the circumstances?
Yes.
Have you ever been treated for a mental or emotional disorder?
It was, I believe, because he's in therapy. I don't think he has a mental illness or anything.
Okay.
As a result of this incident,
Okay.
he has PTSD.
Okay. But that doesn't affect his judgment or reasoning power at all?
No.
He's weighing his in. Okay.
PTSD.
The first gunshot, which is Mr. Zeminski, and there's kind of a flinch of the crowd.
All right, let me get out of that. And let's go to
This is the checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond.
Yes, we do play Jeopardy here. When we've got some downtime.
So this is some of the stuff he did when he was turned voir dire. A lot of people are taken aback by this.
Be able to get underway with things. Chocolate syrup, cassava melon, and a Playboy model, Marley Renfro, were enlisted to create an iconic scene in this film. What is Psycho? You've heard of it. I apologize for this. This is sinus, so it's not. I've been 3 times vaccinated.
I have nasal surgery scheduled on the 21st in the hospital. I haven't tried to reschedule it yet, and I can't. But it is scheduled on the 11th.
Which would you rather do? Be here with me or have your nose operated?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not looking forward to it.
As a matter of fact, it's November, so do we have veterans in here on either side of the railing? Somebody who's serving in our military? How about a hand for these people, huh?
Now, the only veteran that was in the audience was the defense witness that testified. That was the only veteran that was present. So people took issue with that.
Rather than use prescription painkillers to treat
this.
pain, it's time to take a more healing approach.
Yeah, let me stop that. So a lot of people took issue with that as well. I'm actually looking and trying to find something that caught my attention. Jason Black pointed this out on the Black Authority. Now, someone mentioned, I'm trying to find it, a point where it looked like Rittenhouse lawyer was prompting his client to respond to the prosecutor's questions. And this is it here.
Exchange and watch the
fair use. I hope Jason doesn't mind if I use this. I don't think he will, but
defense attorney, when you see the camera shift, watch
to the side of you, correct?
Yes.
He's reaching in with his left arm towards you, correct?
Yes.
He never steps back and puts the gun in both hands in a ready aim position towards you, does he?
He doesn't do that.
He never takes that gun with his right hand and stands there and holds it out with his right hand in front of him and aims it directly at you, does he?
No, he does this, pointing it directly at my head.
And you thought that's the way he was going to shoot you?
Yeah.
You thought.
Did you see that? Did you see what the defense attorney just did? I'm gonna try to back this up a little bit.
Well, look, let me just stop right here for a second. And if you put the fair use, let me put the fair use on it. Fair use. To what Jason is saying, I understand what he was saying. And I saw the nod and him. I don't know. I don't think it constitutes coaching the client to say something. He was instructing him to answer. But, in some attorneys I've seen, they've done that. And I did watch this when this was going on. And I do remember the prosecutor mentioning that you need to answer mentioning the Rittenhouse, instructing him to answer my questions and to stop looking at your attorney, which I thought was interesting. Now, it doesn't surprise me that he looked over to his attorney. Does that mean his attorney was telling him what to say? Probably not necessarily, but the attorney, it does happen where clients will look at their attorneys at the table and look at them for approval or looking at them to object or raise some type of objection or intervene on my behalf. But when you take the witness stand, what happens is that you waive all of your Fifth Amendment privileges. Once you take that stand, everything is fair game. In a self-defense case, if you're claiming justifiable homicide, you need to, as the defense, put on evidence that would show from the preponderance of it that you acted in self-defense. The burden is still on the prosecutor to prove murder, but the defendant still if you're asserting an affirmative defense of self-defense, you need to show that it was self-defense. So it doesn't surprise me that Rittenhouse, and some of y'all call him Rittenhouse, are on there. But looking at it, I mean, it could be coaching. I don't know if there's much on it with that, but I mean, the whole thing, the way that the trial has taken place, it has been a circus. I'll say that much.
Watch the defense attorney's face. Look at the defense attorney's lips.
Pointing it directly at my head.
And you thought that's the way he was going to shoot you?
Yeah.
You thought he ran up close.
Did you see the defense attorney? He said he mouths the words, "Yeah," and nods his head. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit so that you all can see the defense attorney's lips and take a look at what he's saying. I want you to see this. And you tell me, is this legal?
Pointing it directly at my head.
And you thought that's the way he was going to shoot you?
Yeah.
You thought he ran up close to you to shoot you?
Yes.
Now, you notice that first yes the Rittenhouse gave was real remedial and real timid. But notice the second yes was very confident. So take a look at the attorney, take a look at his head gestures before Rittenhouse is even responding.
Pointing it directly at my head.
And you thought that's the way he was going to shoot you?
Yeah.
You thought he ran up close to you to
Now, you all tell me.
Now, let me say this too. Attorneys will still, a good attorney will still go over, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but from my experience as well, I'm giving you these facts. Just from my perspective, a good attorney will always go over trial strategy with his client and prepare your client to expect the unexpected, as well as being prepared for what is expected. So he, you could say he was prepared to know those questions and answer those and went over them with his client. Like if you watch the show Bull, they go over and do pretrial prep with the witness and will ask questions that they know the prosecutor is likely to bring up. Could that be an example? Possibly, yeah. But could he have been lying, and could the attorney have been coaching him? I don't know. It's possible. I'll leave it at that. But this whole thing has been a circus. I'll say that much. It's been. I haven't seen anything like it. I haven't seen a judge. Very rarely do I see a judge be pro-defense. I have not seen that before. A judge that will do all of these things. Basically every decision he makes is for the defendant. Hell, I would love to have a judge like that. If I had one if I have to go to court, criminal court, I would love a judge like that. That would help. I'm praying. Who do I get? Did I get? Oh shit, I got him. Now, of course, if my client were black, he might not be getting that same treatment. More than likely, he will not get the same treatment that Rittenhouse has gotten. But guys, do not be surprised. Like I said earlier on Nicole's View, there's a strong possibility that he will walk. I believe he's going to walk, based off the evidence, based off there's mitigating circumstances that we talk about that are present, like people burning down buildings. Now, that is not a justification for murder, but, I just know all of this stuff they're raising doubt. One of the witnesses, the prosecutor's own witness, fell apart when he said he pointed the gun at him first, and that's when he shot him, meaning Rittenhouse shot him after he pointed the gun. So if you're a juror hearing that and just listening to it, you don't even have to be a juror right there. That's self-defense in that aspect of it. Like I say before, he should not, under 17 years old, be going to Kenosha from Illinois to Kenosha. He should never have been there, period. He's a liability. That's why the only charges he's likely to be found guilty of are the weapon charge. That's it. The judge dismissed the curfew charge. He dismissed that. That's why when the prosecutor asked the question about, well, you knew it was breaking the law when you violated curfew, the defense attorney objected because that's not what facts admitted into evidence, meaning that this was already dismissed. There's no charge for it. If there's no charge for it, he's not been charged with it, then you should not get into discussing it. And the judge agreed. I'm getting text messages. Oh. Give me 1 second, family. Yeah, so don't be surprised if he walks. But, when you're on a witness stand, the witness has to answer the questions the prosecutor gives. That's very true. Should not be answering based off his attorney, but it doesn't surprise me because they'll look over there and wait for their attorney to say something. But, yeah, this whole thing has been a circus. National Guard getting ready for Antifa and then pallets of bricks they setting up around Kenosha. I've been seeing that, yes. But yes. So be mindful on the lookout. The Ahmaud Arbery case, it's not the Ahmaud Arbery case, I apologize. The McMichael Bryan case, that's still ongoing. I'm not going to talk about that yet. I don't know. The prosecutors are still putting on their what we call case in chief. So pretty soon you'll probably see the defense come up. But yes, so let's move into some other news, ladies and gentlemen. This was a strange thing that happened. East Baton Rouge District Attorney's Office is investigating a morbid freak show. Now, we're going to go to WBRZ in Baton Rouge, which is right outside of LSU off Highland Road. Yes, I'm familiar with WBRZ. They said the company that supplied local veterans' body for morbid freak show said it was deceived. So the East Baton Rouge Parish District Attorney, this is Hillamore, is in contracts with his counterparts in Las Vegas and Portland, Oregon, to explore if laws were broken when the body of a Baker man was dissected last month in front of a paying audience in a hotel ballroom halfway across the country. At the same time, the company that provided the body of David Saunders to the company that hosted the Oddities and Curiosities Expo at Portland Marriott said they will no longer work together. This Dave Saunders died on August 24th at a Zachary hospital. The 98-year-old veteran of World War II wanted to donate his body to science, a family spokesperson told WBRZ. Instead, it wound up on a table in front of strangers at a freak show who paid hundreds of dollars to view the dissection. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, this actually occurred. This man died of COVID-19. So they had this event at a hotel, public event, where people could pay and see, and we're touching all on the body. You're touching the body and so forth. Well, let's just listen more to this report coming from Danny Monteverde.
This has broken the line. If there's any lines to be drawn I can think of, now there's no more lines. This is just patently ridiculous and awful, unfortunate.
For District Attorney Hillamore, there are not enough words to explain the fury he feels after learning how David Saunders' body was used when his family thought it was being donated to science.
To see that it was put on display like this and the family not know about it, to hear about it from states away was just disheartening and appalling, really.
Saunders died in late August, and per his wishes, his wife began the process of donating his body to science. But according to the advocate, LSU declined the donation because the veteran had died of COVID-19. MedEd, a Las Vegas-based company, accepted the donation of Saunders' body and then contracted with Death Science, an organization specializing in the promotion of in-person and online courses, events, and seminars related to death science for the general public and industry professionals. And that is where the nightmare begins. Death Science began promoting an October 17th cadaver lab class at a Portland hotel. The cadaver would be David Saunders. At the event, Death Science tells WBRZ an educational anatomical dissection was performed to show the scientific inner workings of the human body. MedEd provided the cadaver and the anatomist. 70 people attended the dissection, paying anywhere from $100 to $500. The event was in conjunction with the Oddities and Curiosities Expo, a traveling show for lovers of the strange and unusual. Death Science says the expo provided ticket processing abilities as a partner for the course. Saunders' widow, Elsie, would learn all of this from the media.
How mean or bad could you make this for this lady to hear that her husband was found on a table many states away and his body was being opened up?
Tonight, MedEd and Death Science are pointing fingers. In a statement to WBRZ, MedEd says prior to the October 17th, 2021 event, Death Science deceived us repeatedly. We had absolutely no prior knowledge that any donor provided by our network of surgical facilities would be used as part of the Oddities Expo, and explicitly no knowledge that people would be paying to attend a show featuring one of our donors. But Death Science says MedEd was aware of the course, ticket sales, and that not all attendees were medical students. As the facts are disputed, Moore has reached out to DAs in Portland and Las Vegas. An investigation is underway in Multnomah County in Oregon. Being that he's never seen a case like this, Moore doesn't know exactly what could be done legally.
If there's nothing they can do criminally, which may be the case, maybe there's some civil ramifications there. Also, maybe some legislative changes that we can all enact together. And then the family has to decide, is there some civil action that they can take here from Louisiana, because we have no criminal jurisdiction here.
For Moore, this is made all the worse with Veterans Day next week. He says someone who risked his life in service to the country and later chose to donate his body to science deserves better.
this is awful for this to happen. We need to all get behind stopping this from ever happening again, not only to a veteran, but this case happened to be a veteran, but anyone.
MedEd is in the process of returning Saunders' body to his family here in Louisiana so he can be laid to rest. And in light of this event, MedEd and Death Science have stopped working together. As for the Oddities and Curiosities Expo mentioned earlier, it has a stop scheduled for New Orleans in January. Moore says he will now do everything he can to make sure that it's not allowed to go on as planned. Sylvia Johnson.
Sorry, this is sad. All right, y'all can hear me. Okay. So what I was saying is you got two companies, two different people pointing a finger at each other. MedEd Labs is saying that it was Death Science that deceived them. Death Science is saying we had been in contact with MedEd Labs. You don't know who to trust here. It certainly is immoral and unethical. But, you know, the district attorney of Baton Rouge, Moore, that guy, I don't think I've met him before. I don't think it's actually going to matter, and he can investigate it. But this happened in another state, so as a result of it, he does not have any jurisdiction. But certainly, if he's going to argue fraud of some sorts, deception, fraud is a crime in the state of Louisiana. You know, that might be something they could do, but you know, they may have something civilly, really a civil course of action that his widow could take against these people, being that she lives in Louisiana. That might be her best way and best option to get justice in this. It's unfortunate that that happened to that gentleman, Mr. Saunders, especially him being a veteran. But you know, they do this to everybody. Apparently, he wasn't the only cadaver. he's just the one that everybody is talking about. And who is not to say that it was more than one person they did this to, more than one family that they deceived. So it's disgusting. I mean, I don't know. I'm just shocked who would actually go to some shit like that. White people. Yeah, we know. Man, maybe I should take the case. This should be my case, huh? Crump's beeper going off. You know what? I'm thinking of getting I'm actually planning to get licensed in Texas. So that ought to be, who knows? I'm coming at the right time. Yeah, I don't know too many. I mean, but then again, I see black women peeing on white men like that. That's not something we normally saw our people do. Ugh. Yes, indeed. Morbid Freak Show. Ugh. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this live stream we got going on, hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal, Google Pay, and Zelle. Now, next thing I wanted to talk about, of course, is the Great Negro Satchel Paige. Now, this past week for Veterans Day, Joe Biden was making a statement regarding Negro Hall of baseball legend Satchel Paige, and I believe this was on Veterans Day when he made this comment. Now, somebody was warning me that this was trending. I didn't know what it was about, but I'll just play it right quick. This is courtesy, of course, it's Fox News, so it may be slightly slanted, but this is the actual quote from townhall.com. This is the actual Twitter, their Twitter page, and the actual clip that went viral on Thursday.
You know, I've adopted the attitude of the great Negro at the time pitcher in the Negro Leagues, went on to become a great pitcher in the pros, into the Major League Baseball after Jackie Robinson. His name was Satchel Paige.
Now, I certainly heard the word Negro. Now, that doesn't necessarily, I'm not going to raise hell about that because I've heard Joe Biden say worse about black people. So that's small potatoes. What does interest me is how the media tried to spin and defend Joe Biden after this and say that he didn't say that. Now, that was the issue I had with it. Now, I'm going to share this with you. Hold on, because we got to go back to the vote all the way through Twitter. When I saw this, I responded and I got a lot of likes as a result of my tweet. But this was something I shared. Mediaite said the following. Now, they said, no, Joe Biden's speech Joe Biden did not refer to Satchel Paige as a Negro during Veterans Day speech. Now, you're not going to be able to see it. I got to keep sharing and switching when I click on the tab to the other page. But you all heard it, correct? Now, I'm sorry, damn it. Now, that doesn't bother me, like I said, because I've heard it before. Although, let's be real. Had this been Donald Trump that made that remark, I certainly believe Mediaite would not have the same tone nor the same message in this. So, they said here, critics falsely claim that President Joe Biden referred to legendary pitcher Satchel Paige as a Negro during a Veterans Day speech, barely more than a week after pulling the same bit on Biden and Pope Francis. Variations on the same claim spread like wildfire among verified conservative Twitter users Thursday. that the president had referred to the late Hall of Famer as the Great Negro at the time. Some even included a clip that painfully reveals the falsehood of the attack. Now, they have all of these conservatives here. And what they're saying, what actually happened is the president was wishing Ambassador Donald Blinken a happy birthday during his Veterans Day speech and injected one of his favorite stories, a roundabout way of saying that you're only as old as you feel. I've adopted the attitude of the great Negro at the time, pitcher in the Negro Leagues, went on to become a great pitcher in the pros and Major League Baseball after Jackie Robinson. His name was Satchel Paige, and Satchel Paige on his 47th birthday pitched a win against Chicago. And all the press went in and said, Satch, it's amazing, 47 years old, no one's ever pitched a win at the age of 47. How do you feel about being 47? He said, boys, that's not how I look at it. He says, how do you look at it, Satch? And he said, I look at it this way. How old would you be if you know how old you were? I'm 50 years old and the ambassador's 47. Now, they tried to say, the president obviously began to say great Negro League pitcher, but then paused and shifted to saying at the time pitcher in the Negro Leagues, which was in fact the name of the league that black players formed when they were shut out of Major League Baseball. Now, that is true. That this needs to be explained is beyond absurd. Now, here's the problem with that media. Everybody heard him refer to Negro Satchel Paige as a Negro. We heard it on the audio. And you even admit that he started out saying that. But yes, he referred to him, and that's the thing, as Negro, even though, yes, I get he was telling a story. But Biden has gotten up there in age. And the problem I have is, again, isn't about him calling, he's made remarks calling black children cockroaches. He said he didn't want his children to integrate in the concrete jungle. Let's not forget, even earlier this year, I clearly heard what I thought he said nigger during a press conference. He said the N-word. Now, it doesn't surprise me. Oh, good night, Danielle. Danielle's leaving. What's up? Danielle, all right. It does not surprise me. So no, I wasn't surprised. I'm not offended by it. What I am stressing in my thing and pointing out is the hypocrisy here. The reason why I have it, why I'm talking about it, is just the hypocrisy and why you can't trust either Fox or CNN or Town Hall versus Mediaite, because they're different wings, but they're all on the same bird. They're attached to the same bird. And we can hear something clear as day, and you're trying to tell us, no, you didn't hear that. But we heard it. Well, you didn't hear this. This is what you heard. This is what really you heard. This is what you really saw. I didn't see you robbing the bank. No, you saw him walking out of the bank with a gun and the money. You didn't see him actually rob the bank. Yeah, that's true. And they used it as a way of saying, oh, Trump is a racist. Not saying that he isn't or is, or he isn't, rather. But honestly, in truthfulness, if you look at his policies, like I said before, he wasn't that bad. President Biden's policies have impacted the black community much more than what Trump did. Trump wasn't singling black people out. Well, I remember he called Cedric Richmond my boy. That's true. Darius. That's why you got to support new black media, because I'm going to give it to you straight. Straight talk, no chaser. It's like Steve Harvey's book. Straight talk, no chaser. Oh, yeah. Man, fuck. The liberals been trying to get me for years. The conservatives been don't want to have me. Don't want me. So fuck the liberals. They ain't gonna come for me. The liberals know they can't mess with me, and the Republicans know I can't be deceived. The conservatives know you can't deceive me. Or rather, it's the other way around, because the liberals are the ones that are deceiving everybody right now. The truth is we have no allies at this point. We are our brother's keeper. Conservatives conserve nothing. That's interesting. I got Saints hats around here. Red is not my color, unless it's a Santa hat. Darius. We can get allies, but first we got to take care of ourselves. We got to put our agenda. We got to put our agenda forward. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button, y'all. Hit that Cash App, please. Now, let's see. Last topic I wanted to talk about. I think I've touched on everything, but I want to talk about this. Now, being that I'm from New Orleans, this is something special I want to discuss. This has a special place for me because it deals with Homer Plessy. Now, some of you all, by show of hands in the chat, how many of you are familiar with the case of Plessy versus Ferguson? Please put a hand up in the chat, in the comment section. We put hands up. Now, back in 1890, Homer Plessy, okay, I see one hand. You have anybody else? Now, Homer Plessy was a shoemaker from New Orleans. He was Creole. And he actually attended church at St. Augustine Catholic Church. That is the oldest African-American Catholic church in the country. That was founded directly for freed slaves here in the United States. I just know that because he's one of the, if you go on the Wikipedia page, he actually attended that church along with A.P. Turo, who was a famed civil rights lawyer here from New Orleans. I actually met his son, A.P. Turo's son, a few years ago when I was back in law school. He would come and speak. Nice guy. He went to LSU's law school. I think one of the first African Americans to graduate from LSU and LSU Law. Dutch Morial, who was the first black mayor of New Orleans, was the first black male to graduate from LSU Law. But what's happening now is that the Louisiana Board of Pardons voted on Friday to unanimously overturn or grant, rather, his pardon. It's not a overturn of a conviction. It's just to grant a pardon for him. So back in 1890, there was something called the Separate Car Act. And that act kept black people, of course, segregated from whites sitting on the streetcars. And Plessy, who was a shoemaker, he purchased a first-class ticket on a Louisiana train, and he sat in the whites-only section. He refused to give up his seat for a white man when ordered by the conductor to go to the back of the rail car. Now, Plessy, who was 1/8 black, was not caught off guard, and he had been working with the Eastern Louisiana Railroad Company to protest the state law requiring rail companies to provide separate but equal places for whites and non-white customers and for patrons to follow suit. So he appealed his case all the way to the Supreme Court, and in that case, Plessy versus Ferguson, this is the case that legalized, although it was legal really across the South, but legalized segregation, Jim Crow. And they found that a Louisiana statute requiring separate but equal railroad cars for black and white passengers did not conflict with the 13th and 14th Amendments. So after the Supreme Court's ruling, he went back to Judge Howard Ferguson's court, pled guilty, and paid a $25 fine. After that, he worked as a clerk, a collection agent for an insurance company, a laborer, and a warehouse worker, and he stayed active in several social organizations. So now there's a new act, Avery C. Alexander Act is Louisiana law, that allows governors to pardon people convicted of violating a state law or a local ordinance created to enforce racial separation or discrimination. The governor will review the recommendation, Governor John Bell Edwards, after he returns from traveling, according to Shauna Sanford, his communications director. Now, of course, the separate but equal doctrine, we know there was another landmark case called Brown versus Board of Education that reversed separate but equal. Now, this is 125 years, ladies and gentlemen, after this case. $125 years. This case was in 1896. May 18th, 1896. Now, my eyes are bothering me, so I'm about to get off in a minute. Get me some rest. But you know, what I was going to say is, while this is great, and yes, it should be overturned, why not just throw out the conviction in its entirety? Forget a pardon. A pardon just means, essentially, we're going to forgive you. I pardon you. Whereas if you overturn a conviction, like we've said before, you're not guilty of the crime. It was a wrongful conviction in the first place. And I doubt Mr. Ferguson, Mr. Plessy, got a fair shake in court, being that he was black. He can call himself an octoroon all he wants. Octoroon, mongroon. Remember that line from Jungle Fever when Wesley Snipes' wife was talking about how she was high yellow, octoroon, kangaroo, mongroon, all of those terms. It didn't matter. Yes, he should be pardoned, but really the conviction should be overturned. Why not overturn it? And really, from a legal perspective, the doctrine of separate but equal has been overturned by Brown versus Board of Education. But remember, you had to have a Civil Rights Act. You had to have a Voting Rights Act passed. You had to have those bills in place to protect African Americans, because while there was a 13th and 14th and 15th Amendment in the Constitution, the states were not following that. I'm not going to say it's a nothing burger, because, you know, the family, if they want this, and especially if it does them justice, okay. But for me, I think his conviction as general should have been overturned posthumously, like they did George Steinme Jr., because it's clear a black man trying to fight for his rights in the 1890s was not going to get a fair shake anyway from the beginning. So that's all I got to say about that. Well, Darius, the thing is this. You call him an octocoon. He's still a black man at the end of the day, and I'm not going to diss him. I won't diss him just because, you know, he was fighting against this. fighting against segregation. So I applaud him on that aspect of it. But Octokun, that's a good one, man. But yeah, but his descendants still live today, and I did see where I guess his great grandson was friends with the descendant of Ferguson. That's kind of like how Oprah has the former slave owners and the former slaves descendants on her television show, and how they all become huggy duggy. I'd be like, fuck that. Give me my damn reparations. Hug me after you give me the check. You give me the check, I'll hug you all long time. Put a fucking knife to them throat. Ah! You had my family, bitch. Give me my damn money. So one judge, Harlan, dissented from the decision. This is Homer Plessy. Hold on, let me show a picture of Homer Plessy for you all. Can y'all see? All right, that's Homer Plessy. Looks like Ulysses S. Grant. He thought he had the complexion for protection, but they said not in this election. He does look like he could pose for be president. So yeah. The majority opinion was written by Judge Justice Henry Billings Brown. He said the court reasoned that the laws were within the laws requiring racial separation was within Louisiana's police powers, the core sovereignty authority of the United States to pass laws on matters of health, safety, and morals. Look at this. It held that as long as a law that classified and separated people by their race was a reasonable and good faith exercise of states' police power and was not designed to oppress a particular class, the law was legal. According to the court, the question in any case of racial segregation like laws like Plessy was whether the law was reasonable, and the court gave great discretion to the state legislatures to determine the reasonableness of the laws that they passed in the great state of Louisiana. Oh, yes. Now, Justice Harlan wrote a dissent. So how would a Northerner talk? Everyone knows that the statute in question had its origins in the purpose, not so much to exclude, I know it's British, white people from railroad cars occupied by blacks, as to exclude colored people from coaches occupied by or assigned to white persons. The thing to accomplish was, under the guise of giving equal accommodation for whites as well as blacks, to compel the latter to keep to themselves while traveling in railroad passenger coaches. No one would be so wanting in candor as to assert the contrary. Did you pop the cat, Carver? Your cousin from Boston. All right. So, yeah. So you see right there, it mocks the separate but equal doctrine because that's the Jim Crow car for blacks, and this was the car for white folks. Nice and clean. We're going to give you niggas the most raggedy, dirty car you have here. Now, something interesting. This Justice Harlan said that the Plessy decision would eventually become as infamous as the court's decision in Dred v. Scott, in which the court ruled that Black Americans could not be citizens under the United States Constitution and that its legal protections and privileges could never apply to them. So, look at that. Majority, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 justices. Brewer didn't cast a vote, and only 1 dissented. Yeah. But be that as it may, congrats to the Plessy family on this. Anyway, guys, hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you like this channel. We go live every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday on channel GBoo2786, on my backup channel, Gavin Richard, on Facebook, and on Periscope. I'm seeing that they're saying I don't have anybody watching me on Twitter, even though I know I'm live. Oh, shout out to Brother Bernard, because I saw he liked the video. Bernard had me on his platform yesterday. Y'all go to King BJ and subscribe to his channel. Thank you all to my 1,200 subscribers that we have here. Thank you all. Again, if you like the channel, if you want to see the platform grow, please donate to the platform at the links at the bottom. The Cash App, Gavin Richard Esquire. Google Pay and PayPal are the same as the email, gavin.grich1@gmail.com. If you email me if you'd like to advertise, and you'll get some rates information. Go to the Patreon as well to see content you won't see here on YouTube. We'll be uploading some videos this week. I plan to do that. Just been so tied up and busy, and now the holidays are coming up, so I'm trying to crunch out stuff before all of that. Go to our website, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. If you want to get some seasoning for the holidays, we'll send some to you. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish. Finally, I'm trying to get into stores with that. We got our latest single, got Video Soul, which is on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple. You can go and download that. Also, guys, I would be remiss if I did not share with you again our Facebook page for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., the destruction of due process in the United States. I've been playing this all week. I'll go ahead and play it again before we get out of here. Hi, I'm attorney Gavin and Richard. That beat is fire, huh? My latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., the destruction of due process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jell-O, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn that attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format. Yeah, can't wait for that to come out again. It's going to be coming out this fall, guys. Just waiting on my legal team to handle all of that. Let me go ahead in the meantime and actually also show you the Facebook page you need to go to actually check out for updates. I need you to please go here to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby page. It's Commonwealth Cos. That's the username right there. So you can easily find it. You use at Commonwealth Cos. I'm going to put that in the chat, at Commonwealth Cos. So you can actually check that out. And when it goes live, you want to see updates. I'm going to do a party when we release the book, a virtual party. I'm going to invite some people. Nicole, certainly. I'll certainly invite her. Probably Judge Joe Brown. I certainly will invite our brother Ron Hurd, Sean James to come in. I know Harvey would love probably be there. So a couple of people, Tori Rain, a bunch of people to come in and celebrate this because we really want to push this book. It's going to be successful. And my main reason for writing it was to basically show people why we have laws, why we have a constitution, why it's important to keep those precedents in place, such as the presumption of innocence, such as due process. Those are things that are important. It's never a great thing when anybody gets railroaded. So you guys can't wait for that. Also, I just want to say too, now I was going to play this. I can't play it, but last topic I wanted to talk about before I get off, I'm going to be real brief with it, but I was talking about the Proud family, and that was something that was mentioned in here. Yeah. The Proud family is coming back to Disney Plus, and apparently, did y'all see this? Hold on, let me stop the screen. I saw this. Now, I won't play the House of Mouse will block me faster than the John Cena in the movie Cock Blockers, or Blockers, I should say. And this is the trailer for the Proud family. Now, I'm not going to play it. I'm muted it, but I want you all to look at something right quick. Now, you see who this individual is here. That is, for a fact, I believe that is the character that Billy Porter is going to play. He and Zachary Quinto are going to play a homosexual couple. And you look at who's acting in it. Lizzo, Tiffany Haddish, Gabrielle Union, and Cedric the Entertainer are going to feature. But then there's another name that's also featured in here. And look who it is at the top. Yes, Punky Brewster, right there. No, but yeah, Punky Brewster, Soleil Moufra. Yeah, that's the big one out of all of them. But no, the main one we got here is Lil Nas X. So I'm circling all back to Lil Nas X. He's actually doing the Proud family. He's going to be a guest star. I believe Magic Johnson's son, AJ, is also a guest on the show. So they're going full blown with it. Lil Nas X, Soleil Moon Frye, Leslie Odom Jr. He played Sam Cooke, and he played in the Sopranos movie that came out recently. on HBO Max if you saw that. Carlos Mencia. So yeah, y'all stay tuned and watch what happens. But I saw it and I just wanted to shout out to Kamel because he actually emailed it to me. But yeah, they've gone full blown with it. So that doesn't surprise me. But get Video Soul, ladies and gentlemen, on Amazon, Spotify, and Apple, and also get our single, Gotta Get On Up, because of course, as we have now gotten down, it's time to get on up. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us go ahead and get on up. I'm out of here. Love you all. Have a prosperous week. We're getting ready for Monday. But not to worry, ladies and gentlemen, the week after that is Thanksgiving week. So we'll eventually be off at least for 4 days at best. Some people have 5. So y'all stay tuned. Be safe and be blessed. Really, definitely not interested in this reboot with these characters. I didn't really watch. I watched the show back then, but honestly, I didn't watch it with a great deal of like I did, for instance, what shows I watched back in the day. I didn't watch it as much as I did like Mighty Max, or I'm just thinking various shows that they had back then. The Mario Brothers cartoons like that. I watched some of it when it came on. Because I believe it was early 2000s when it came on. Wasn't too much into it. Now, That's So Raven, I'm not gonna lie, I watched that. I was a fan of Raven Simone, although until she went nuts in full coon. But yeah, but it's interesting that they did that. So yeah, the trailer was meh. But anyway, guys, let me get on out of here. You leave your comments, tell me what you think. I'll holla. Peace. Oh, wait, before I go, let me just give a special shout out to my brother Darius from Atlanta. Thank you for your donation. Thank you also to Bossa Queenie, Bailey, Derek Bailey, a bunch of people who are in here. Dark skinned brother. I can't thank y'all enough, man. It's a long time song. Thank you. Thank y'all for coming in, man. Yeah, Mighty Max was my show back then. I remember when Mega Man had a cartoon. Cartoons used to be lit. Now today they're knit. They knit. They went from lit, now they're knitting. The boys are knitting. Anyway, guys, y'all be safe and be blessed. Let's get on up.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop. I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Y'all tune in Tuesday to Gavin Reshaw Presents. This is Charles Barkley reminding you knuckleheads to be here. If not, that'll be terrible, terrible, terrible on you. Shalom, family.